Success with Ange. I'm Coach Angela of homeschoolfitnesscoach.com, and I just love to share information that I have learned as a fitness coach over the last decade, believe it or not, and also share insights into homeschooling, which I have been doing for 2 decades, 20 years. Seems like it flew by really fast, though. I'm sure for those of you who have been homeschooling for many years, you know exactly what I mean. Time just flies, and the kids grow up so fast. And so today I thought I would talk a little bit about our children, and specifically about negative body image. So this is something that really hits home for me. I have all girls. Now, if you have boys, it's probably a different story. I don't know. I don't have boys, aside from my husband, who I always say is my 5th child. But I have had 4 daughters, and having a negative body image not just impacts you and your self-confidence and who you are, but it also can affect your daughters. So that's what I want to talk about today, and kind of give you some insight into that and kind of share my story a little bit, because negative body image is not something that I have conquered. Negative body image is something that I still struggle with today, and it probably comes from being a chubby kid, the chubby cheerleader, chubby this, chubby that. I never considered myself really the leanest girl or the fittest girl, but there was a time when I did get very, very lean, and I was at probably about 12% body fat. Not exactly the healthiest body fat levels to be at, but I really thought that I had reached, the pinnacle of fitness because I was at 12% body fat. Now, the thing about that is that you can't stay there. It's not possible if it's not in your genetics. Some people are just genetically lean. That's just how they are, and that's not how I am. So I was not able to maintain that, and with the additional putting on of pounds after that, or body fat, it affected me negatively. And so what I had to learn was I had to learn to accept or change, I should say, change the way I looked at being fit. Is being fit necessarily being extremely lean to me? Well, probably at this point in my life, I could definitely say no. But it was a process that I had to go through that. So you have to define what fit means to you. What exactly is fit? Is it a certain body fat percentage? Is it being able to keep up with the kids? Is it, being able to do push-ups? What is lean, or what is fit to you? And for me at this stage in my life, being fit is being able to do high intensity workouts and go to boxing class and do MMA classes and go bike riding with the kids and hike a mountain if I want to, things like that. That to me is being fit, and it's no longer this image that society has put on me that I need to be skinny, or I need to wear size 2, or any of that. I have to have a 6-pack. All of that it doesn't matter to me anymore. And so you really need to get comfortable with and really identify with your definition of fit. Okay, so if you agree with me on that, just click the like button. So I want to tell you a story about what happened to me, and it caused me to realize the negative effect I was having on my children. And this was, way back in the beginning of my journey, when my oldest child was still in the home, and she's 24 now, but she was probably, I want to say, maybe 10 or 11 years old. And I would always ask, oh, I think my these pants make my thighs look big, or my butt looks big, or I think I'm getting fat, or just comments like that would come out of my mouth. But they would come out of my mouth because it was what was going on up here in my head, and it was just a reflection of where my mindset was. And so I would say these things not thinking about my child who is hearing me say these things. And my child is extremely athletic. She's always been athletic all her life, has had barely any body fat on her body, very muscular. She played so many sports, was a competitive tumbler, and is still, very athletic today. She does roller derby and just super athletic. So one day she said to me, she said, "Mom, I need to start working out with you because I think I'm getting fat." Wow. That hurt me. That hurt my heart because I know she's not fat. She's never been fat, and she wasn't fat at that time. But I knew that her comment that she said to me was a result of what I had been saying for so many years. And so your negative body image can definitely have an impact on your children, because then, you have such an impact on your kids. They really look up to you. And that was my reality check that, okay, I have an issue that I need to take care of. So I started to work on my self-talk and what I said to myself. And it's not an instantaneous thing. This is a process that you have to go through, where when you start to think a negative thought, you have to stop yourself and you have to change that negative thought into something positive about yourself. And this is an ongoing practice. This is something you have to continually practice. It's not going to come naturally, because it's very natural for us to think of all negative things of ourselves, but we need to learn to love ourselves, and we need to learn to think things that are great, because we are great. We're beautiful in God's image, and so we need to live that out, and we also need to think that. So if we can change our mindset, then what comes out of our mouths will reflect that. So what I did with her to get us over this, and I've got my notes here, that's why I keep looking down, sorry, was I wanted to change this mentality that we both had. And so we started with a Bible study together that we did together about true beauty and what it was. And that started that process of changing the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we feel about ourselves. And, one thing you need to be aware of is that eating disorders develop from the early age of 5 or 6, and a study that was done indicated that 70% of 6th grade girls worry about their weight. And I personally believe that worry stems from their parents, who are preoccupied with their own poor body images. And I was an exact example of that. So can't talk today. Sorry, guys. So if you start finding yourselves talking negatively about yourself, stop. Just stop and change that negative thought into something positive, okay? Then the other thing that I would recommend that you do is not to use the word diet around your kids. It's nutrition, it's healthy eating, it's whole food eating, it's something of that nature, but take away the negative connotation of that. And ask friends and family not to use that word diet around your children as well. I know sometimes it's hard with family, but if you can get them to agree to that, take the word diet out of your vocabulary. Involve the children in, the creating of healthy meals, of healthier nutrition and things like that. But don't tell them that, we're on a diet. We don't want that negative connotation around the children. So we're adopting a healthy lifestyle. We are learning to eat more whole foods or eat healthier foods or things of that nature. That's much better for the kids to hear, because that's a legacy that you can create in your family that will get passed down from generation to generation. Now, the other thing that you want to try not to do is make exercise or working out a negative thing. So if you're always saying, I have to go work out, or it's time for me to work out, I really don't want to, then that gives your children a negative view of exercise. So instead, have fun with it. Let them know that working out is going to make them strong and healthy. It's going to help them have a lot of energy. They're going to have a lot of stamina. It's going to, help them do better in sports. They're going to be able to pay attention more in school, things of that nature. Make it a fun thing and not this negative connotation. And then, do stuff together as a family. Engage in lots of physical activity. Get out, ride your bikes, go rollerblading, roller skating, go for a hike, go swimming, play soccer, kick a ball around in the backyard, throw a ball around. Get them engaged in activity and make it part of your everyday family life. A great thing that I know a family that lives on our block does is every evening when the weather's nice, I live in the Midwest, but when the weather's nice, after dinner, as a family, they go for a walk all around the neighborhood. And I think that's wonderful. Every time I see them, I just cheer and get all excited inside, because I think, yes, that's awesome, because they're instilling that healthy habit in their children. And there's no negative connotation. They're together, and sometimes the kids are on their bikes or they're on their scooters or roller skating with the parents, and they're walking the dogs with them. And it's just great to see families engaging in physical activity together. So make it a fun thing. Make it something that they grow up enjoying and looking forward to, rather than it being a negative thing. And just know that if you want your children to have a positive body image, you don't want to hear the words from them like, I think I'm getting fat, Mom, I need to work out. You don't want to hear that. And it broke my heart when I heard that in my kids. But she was my oldest, and so I broke that mold with the last 3. So, it takes time. It takes time to change your mindset, to get positive about it. So first of all, forgive yourself. If this describes you, I had to forgive myself for having such a negative body image, and understand that it's going to be a process for you to get over this, to learn to love yourself where you're at, that you don't have to be a size 2 to look fit. It's about being healthy and being there for your family, and just figure out what being healthy and fit means to you. And then forget what everybody else says. What you see in the magazines, or you see these fitness exercise gurus who are wearing next to nothing, and you think you need to be that in order to be fit. You don't. So accept yourself where you are. You are beautiful. You are God's creation, and He loves you, and I think you're awesome too. So thank you for joining me today for Recess with Ange. And if you want to learn more about me, you can go to homeschoolfitnesscoach.com. I have 7 free workouts that you can download and have access to immediately if you would like to get started on your fitness journey. If you have questions, you want to learn more about my coaching program or how I can help you get healthier and change your mindset, then you can go to homeschoolfitnesscoach.com and schedule a 30-minute success session with me. It is absolutely free. You get to talk to me, and we'll figure out the best plan for you, whether you decide to train with me or not. So thank you again for joining me at Recess with Ange, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah.